we've got a massive flaw in our system here. Especially when we look at it, it could be like a type of espionage, but not quite. But still, we've got local councils, yeah?
Yeah.
Personally, I find that the local councils are useless on many fronts, okay? They're not there for the community, they don't do nothing when it comes to antisocial behaviour, they seem to get around their friends at housing associations, they seem to let them off an awful lot of stuff. Now, the problem is with it, when we have central gov, yes?
Yeah.
Which we've got .gov, yeah, which is the, let's say, the Houses of Parliament. Let's just sort of do a very crude understanding of Houses of Parliament, right?
Yeah.
When we have a new party come in, near enough, most of them leave or switch house, yeah? So they've got one on one side, one on the other side, yeah?
Yeah.
And things that were operating under this gov then no longer cease to exist for a bit and then move over to the other gov that gets voted in, so forth, so on. And if there are more parties in there, then more divisions in the seats, yeah? But then we've got councils.
Yeah.
And you know what? People like Clark and all the rest of it, right? I think they should be made to leave when a new government comes in, right? And I think that this helps communities all over the United Kingdom, and it helps to make jobs and keeps them going, right?
Yeah.
So, if you've got one that's Green Party, here is Green Party, yeah?
Yeah.
Are they going to side with a Labour government, or are they going to have a different agenda? Think about it. Are they going to operate in a way, right? Because when I called up the council here, yes?
Yeah.
Back when I was at my last property, they kept talking about government. It's all government. It's government. It's central government. They're detrimental to you. They're not beneficial to you. That's just the way they are. That's just the way they are. Then, when some members came from Saffron, they were also echoing the same thing.
Yes,
Well, this charges me up, right? And then I erred on a bit of caution, but I fired at them.
Yeah.
But could it be that these people are whispering in the ears of people in the community everywhere in order to get Labour out? Because they don't want Labour in, they don't want this, they don't want that. Green Party didn't win it. And then their chain of command. You see, there's so much corruption inside councils, it's unbelievable. Anyone that's gone through the process, antisocial behaviour, if they like you or don't like you, every single house I've ever been to, when it's related to the council, and remember, they hide behind Saffron, it's still owned by the council, it's just that they've put a CEO. They've taken your tax, built houses, and then put one of their friends as CEO. The profit is, you are not allowed to profit off of this type of situation. I can't remember what it's called now. So it's still a branch of the council. It's just hidden now under a CEO that then goes and gets put onto Saffron. But they used your tax to build it, and then someone CEO is profiteering off of your... So you have to keep paying, pay more, and your rents go up and up and up and up. Interesting. And they've just designated one of their friends. Yeah?
Yeah.
Just shorthand there. They've put one of their friends in as CEO. And this friend might be someone in the council's friend. And again, so if you were to have a complaint about property damage being damaged or anything else like that, the council, their environmental health or anything else, I'm just going to put EVH, you might as well put evil, right? They come out and they don't do anything. They come out on the non-official visit first. You'll notice this is corruption at its finest. They'll come out on their non-official visit. Oh, I'm not here officially, I'm just coming to see how it is. Gather a load of intel, and then they know what not to look for the next time they come round on their official visit. Anyone that's been through that, what about if you've gone through antisocial behaviour? Let me guess, the last person here moved off. Nothing happens. In fact, this causes more conflict in the community than anywhere else, and nothing gets done, and it demoralises each and every single individual inside the community. This is what it does. It has an ability to bring everybody down. You'll notice the looks and everything else. This causes a high amount of stress, and people aren't thinking about the council, because the council are saying, it's the government, it's the government, it's the government. If you don't like it, So I think that in order to get out of this situation that we've got, I think they should all be sacked. Not every single one in the council. I think that when you have a new government come in, I think Labour's responsibility should be, okay, they want to vote. We need a separate voting system that doesn't go through the council at all. Not at all. That is just stupid. It opens the door for corruption. And if this is how they operate, then I don't know if I want to vote. Because I don't think it's going to the right place. Now, how many times have I actually been sent a voting form? I haven't. I'm registered, but I haven't been sent anything. That's interesting. So, how many other people are they doing that to? And you might think, well, it's only a few thousand, but that's a few thousand votes that make a difference in the... So, therefore, they're not exactly operating that correctly. So, the people that they know are going to vote in a different way, they don't care. They're not going to send you your form. And then what do? And then what about the complaints procedure inside the council? It ain't there. It's non-existent. Oh, you tell me what I needed, what I missed. And then you've got another one in there, a manager, looking after this one, looking after this one. There's no admittance to when they make things wrong, or they get things wrong. They turn a blind eye to things like asbestos. They look away when it comes to mould, and then you've got their individuals coming in blaming your furniture. Smells pretty good. Doesn't smell like that now. You know, so I think that the votes shouldn't even be going through this channel. And I think that it's the people in the UK that need to start waking up to this, and waking up pretty quickly to it. These individuals have been operating like this, and if anybody else has gone through anything like this, then you need to speak up. You're going to need to start sharing your stories, because it's going to help change our nation for the better. This is how it works. So I think the voting should go to a completely separate system altogether. Okay? And I think that this should be done via AI, this voting system. We're at the age now where we can use this type of equipment. Now, if we've got AI and that we send in a vote, we can get this. Okay, Labour won. Okay, this party won. Rah. So this eliminates any type of this. Now, when the vote is passed and Labour is voted in, Labour are going to have to designate individuals that are going to go and sit on all of the councils, because they need to be able to operate them. Now, how does their society look in a Labour government or a Tory government? Okay, or any other government for that matter, yes? How does it look? How does your environmental health look? How does your taxation look? How do you know they're channeling all of that money correctly back to their... How do you not know they're not mucking hands in this, claiming that they needed more money for this and this project, but how do you know they're actually doing the projects? They could be giving all of the projects to their friends, but not anyone in the community. And then, where does that sit for you in that? What it does is it gets some new people that need to be headed on certain things that we need. Yeah, there's been a large outcry for this, and this. And then Labour would be responsible at looking at their MEPs and saying, right, any of you guys like a job in this? Okay, you've shown really good abilities at running environmental health. You look like you could be a bit more better for running, antisocial behaviour. You look like you could do things that control the roads in the area. You know, people in the community that come from this area can then be offered an opportunity into the council. And this works really well for Labour. Really well. If you got the vote, we shouldn't be having a Green Party in one council, because they're trying to kick out the chair from underneath you and you don't even realise it. How is this good for the people? And trust me, from an experience, I've gone through this, I'm walking this path. It is not great. It is not a good feeling that they use you, the individuals, to wind you up, drop a load of shit into your head, and then they want you to fire at this because then you do their work for them. They didn't want you in the first place. And then I think that this brings a more healthy structure in the council. And when people go to vote, they're not just voting for central, they're voting for council. How did it operate? And what we do is we get, let's say we've got Conservatives as well, yeah?
Yeah.
Let's say then Conservatives put all of their members into the councils, all of them, every single one. This opens up more jobs for people, opportunities that people would never have. And then, what does that feel like as an individual in the country? Is it better? And if it is better, they'll remember you when it goes to voting. Not on you being the centralised. No. It's going to be on the overall experience. The overall experience. How does that feel? Was it terrible? Okay. Is it, do you need room to improve on certain aspects inside the council? The way it's structured. Then, do you necessarily need certain parts of the council? Do you need people in there? Has anyone ever called up? Has there been a need for it, depending on what it is? Do you get what I mean? So they could have, I don't know, road sweepers or bottle bank collections or recycling or whatever it may be. And perhaps there's not so much of an outcry for that anymore. Well, how much money would be saved? Well, you wouldn't need to push up the tax some certain year because you closed a few of the things, the services that are just really not there, right? They're just not called upon. It's no good having someone inside a council where they get to sip on cups of tea, doing barely next to nothing, pretending to look busy when it suits them, when it gets them in the paper or when it helps out a friend. We don't need any of that. That's not how we want to operate. So then we can pay someone to sit pretty in a company and do a less than perfect job. Do you get what I mean? And then when another council, let's say government gets voted in, they're going to have to be responsible for putting individuals in here. This stops corruption. Okay, sure, there's always corruption going to arise in things, but what this does is it makes it incredibly difficult for it to arise, let's say. If everyone, because I think the one thing that the council said was when I echoed this once before, they bit back at me and said that voting could be rigged. Okay, well we'll remove that then. We'll remove that with AI. We'll have the AI deal with that. And then people can just use their mobile phone and send a piece for paper just to confirm it, One's done by the internet, the other one's done by paper format. This is in control of what happens, this, that and the other. If you use a certain coloured pen, when it goes back into the machine, it reads red pen meant Labour, blue pen meant Conservative, green pen meant Green Party. I got to admit, I haven't seen anything special come from the Green Party running the council. Personally, they have told me everything I need to know about them. No, I won't be voting for you ever in my life, because if this is how you can operate something, you run in a council and this is how you operate it, you're the head of it, you've got MPs that are the heads of this council here. If this is how you operate, well, it's a bit of insight into how you'd run the country, really, isn't it? Pretty poorly. Really badly, I would say. And then there's this whole chair kicking out from everyone else. And the only person that suffers, it's not just the Labour Party that will impact on that, no, it's the people in the communities that are suffering that. And what's more, they have to frickin' pay for it. At a large amount. And should we be paying for that type of a service? A non-existent service that is selective whenever it feels like operating? Well, your friendship being an everyday person compared to one of my friends, a CEO. Yeah, do you see the difference that we've got here already? That there's an imbalance already. The scales have already tipped when it comes into this. And then if you've made a complaint against the council, well, they might put you in a situation the second time that they go to, the choice between antisocial or terrible house. Mental health versus physical health. Fine oiled machine this, isn't it? This is corruption at its finest. This is what it is what it boils down to. And the only way to get rid of that is to remove all of these individuals when we have a fresh party come in. remove them all. They are P45, off you go. I'm sure your expertise are needed elsewhere. And I think that should be a mandatory thing. And if it can't be done with the council, let it go and they find their own funds and you structure something new. And they'll say, yeah, but you're just trying to get, you notice it come up in the papers, they're just trying to rig the voting system. You know, probably where they've got another one of their friends that is not just a CEO here, they're also a CEO inside a paper.
Yeah.
You ever notice that the online news is completely different to the news inside a newsstand? Have you ever noticed that?
Yeah.
But what they put online is nothing compared to what's in a newspaper. And the stuff that goes online never ever echoes up in a newspaper. So we've got two different biases being created here.
Yeah.
Two different ones. So should we lose the newspaper? Do we have a newspaper that is centralised towards government? And do we have a news that is connected into a council somewhere where once again they've got to protect all their friends in their little group? Their men only group.
Yeah.
I think that this should be gone. This structure should finish. It's just littered with problems. I'm not the only person. I already know this without asking anyone else to come forward. I have met people who have been in this situation.
Yeah.
I've met family members that have gone through this situation. I've met friends of family that are in this situation. Some are currently in it. Some have gone through it multiple times.
Yeah.
And this just puts in a very poor understanding of social housing, and then people are like, whoa. And it's also causing divisions inside the community. Remember what was said. There are very key things that were said by the Saffron individuals, right?
Yeah.
You know, once again, let's keep celebrating, let's bring him down. The thing is, right, there was a lot of key red flags going off during the time, yes?
Yeah.
An awful lot of things. One is that, is everything okay? Right, there was that. They then say that the rich people bully their lot.
Yeah.
I don't think that's bullying. I think that once again, you are being told something and you don't want to act upon it. You're being told something by the community and you are not listening. And there again, it's pitting, there it is, once again, it's pitting rich against poor. Yeah?
Yeah.
The whole rich and poor.
Yeah.
Might as well call it PR.
Yeah.
There you are, there's the division.
Yeah.
They pick on our lot. No, I don't think they are. No. From a ground experience, and I think that they know this because they were here.
Yeah.
So, you know, and to get in this situation again, I mean, compared to a past experience, depends on which one. The last one, this is nothing. This is barely the tip on the iceberg. What it was experienced was far worse, and therefore it prepared me. So, again, and that person was working for the council, and look at what they got away with. Look at what they got away with. Look at the amount of stuff they knew how to do and cover their own tracks while doing it.
Yeah.
Once again, it relates back to a council again. That one was Breckland. This one is what? South Norfolk.
Yeah.
And they've partnered up with Broadland, and is kind of, I don't know. If I was an individual, when it comes to voting, I'd be looking at a leader that is going to sort this issue out.
Yeah.
This one needs sorting. And the only way to really do it is to have that sort of, each time the party changes, these change.
Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah.
All employers. Every single one. Out you go, new lot comes in. And no, you can't join to this one if you're a part of this one. You can't join to that one either. Why should that be something? There should be like a cooling off period. Because, you know, someone goes to resign. You already see it starting to happen.
Yeah.
They're using the council to bring down Labour. That's what they're doing. That is espionage. There's no ifs or buts about it. This opens the door for espionage. You want to bring it down? This is how you do it. You murmur to the people that are inside the areas. You tell them that it's central government. Central government. They're detrimental to you. They're detrimental to your health. They're detrimental. They're never beneficial to you. Really? Are these the same ones that formulated an NHS, and you want to sit here and start talking about who's detrimental and beneficial to you? Seems to me that you lot have created nothing but misery in communities. You've got divisions going off, left, right and centre.
Yeah.
You're the ones that are causing divisions. These are the individuals that come from a legacy that built an NHS, free dentists. You're the ones probably pushing your individuals to go and get your teeth done, and then what? They do something where it bodges something, and they'll have to go to something like this. It's not being regulated in this aspect because, you're nothing to me. That's my friend. You're nothing to me. You know, I'm not gonna side with you. I'm gonna. What's the score? Come on. We'll give you some money. We'll give you a pointless job if you want. Come sit on here. Nah, I think that this is I think it should be the end. And then when I was looking at parish councils and town councils, I was noticing with a very little, look how much of a lot they can do. Have you not noticed that they seem to be quite a lot of goings on, and I say, well, and they're working on a budget that they get from these after all.
Mm-hmm.
So no, and then there's picking and choosing who gets the funds. Do they like you? Have you ever complained to us before? And it is absolutely true. And I think the people that complain want the best for their community. That's what it's about. The people that just go along and plod along to it, you know, probably don't want this type of resistance. So there you are. This is why there's resistance here. This is why there's so much misery, and they want you to believe that it's just you. And if anybody else is going through this, it is not you. We're going to say that straight up. It isn't you. They will try and convince you that it is. It isn't central government. In fact, it would show that we don't have enough control. If you've got, let's say, a Labour in this one, you've got a Green Party in this one, Conservative, Labour. That's a lot of people underneath that, where they're whispering these little agendas off. So the calls are recorded to the council, so you can pull that call recording and it's there. It was when I was calling up about the council tax, and we got onto a subject of governments are detrimental to you. Then Saffron might echo in this too, inside my own home. And it just seemed like no matter where I was going, you've got to have a lot of discernment in order to go through that. And when you get to the end of it, you might have already done some damage, already have started firing out. And therefore, it isn't your fault. And it's okay to be wrong, by the way. It's okay to get things wrong. What is not okay is to carry on getting things wrong when you get enlightened, let's say, to this. This is bollocks, mate. It's corruption, capital C. And it's open for corruption. And then what happens when they start spouting about the king, or the queen, or the Labour government, or this one? Because they might want Farage in, you know, because he's going to make them rich, right? He's going to make all their friends rich. Like Scrooge McDucks, right? Cyril Sneer and all the rest of it, yeah? This has got to stop, I think. And I think that a government that stands needs to know this, what they're up against. Because is that really a fair run in your political party? No, I don't think it is. I think, is it fair for the people to go through that? To be used as pawns in that? No, I don't think it is. And then when you see it, you can't unsee it. So if you're Labour and you got in and you won by a margin of a vote, I suppose I could draw a star above each of these, but you know. Then I think you should head all of them, every single one, and then let us feel your change. Let us feel what you want to bring into communities. Let us feel how much room you let in for the people, how much funds are available, what services are not needed. Yeah, because after all, if the people aren't using the service, what's the point in keeping it open? What's the point in hiring people for it? What, because it looks good because they've got a job and a title? No. And then, if Labour come in and Labour MEPs, okay, again, it can be, you can be infiltrated. Long-time members of your party, I'm sure there are thousands of them that really want to, you know, the one thing when I was joining up to be an MEP, I wanted more action, but I never got it. You'd have not got it in this way. And I think this is what people are after, to help their community at the end of the if they live in the area, then why can't they have some jobs in there? And then, how many people would then be like, I'm going to vote again, I'm going to vote again, and why would you vote again? Because this then helps all of the individuals inside the community, which again is what a council was supposed to originally stand for, was helping people in the community. And we haven't seen that. We've seen a decline in a lot of our stuff.
Yeah.
And then, how open is this for outside interference? How open is this council to outside interference from a different party, to an agenda in another country somewhere? Are we looking at this correctly? Because if you've got people that sit in here like furniture, how do we not know they haven't been paid off by another nation?
Yeah, they don't care. They
In
will
order
be
to
sitting
kick
there
up?
anyway, whatever
They're getting paid,
happens.
They've got a
Yeah,
salary,
yeah,
they've got a big car,
yeah.
nice house.
yeah,
It's guaranteed work.
they will help each other in the where
Of
they are
course, yeah.
sitting, so nothing will improve because they will be all sitting there all the time.
And then when you're bringing real hard issues to an MP that's the Green Party, well, we're going to get involved, we're going to do this. Is this the best you could do? Out of all of that, this was the best you could do. That was it. Well, I can just have a word with them. And we're forced a tax for that? That's it. Everybody else in the community here are forced a tax for this.
Yeah.
They got to suffer that.
Yeah.
This is what we're forced into.
Mm-hmm.
All because these ones want to be a part of the furniture. Get their family names in legacy books. You know, my granddad's was inside this. Yeah, I can see why it's got shit. The reason why it's all declined is because it's not based on talent, it's based on your surname.
Yeah.
You know, and then we go to account somewhere in the town, let's say, and then there's the same family name.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, this is interesting.
Yeah.
No wonder why it's stagnating, because we're not doing this based on talent, we're doing it based on surname. And therefore, you fear anyone that comes with talent, because you know that you're just entitled to it based on a surname, whereas raw